Alright friends, welcome back to the Cutlass Board Games channel for some more Magic the Gathering historic content. If you caught the last thing, you could see that I've been playing around with Spawning Pod a little bit. It's kind of very fun. And this is a different kind of combo based on the same concept. The last one was with Yawgmoth, where you would sacrifice things. They would kind of loop infinitely and kill your opponent with the Blood Artist trigger. This time, instead of going infinite, we're just going as wide as possible. We're just going to make as many things, as many tokens in play as we can. So starting off, we've just got a little bit of ramp in Llanowar Elves. Then we've got Blood Artist and Zulaport Cutthroat. We're not playing the enchantment that makes a Blood Artist because we're pretty much just playing dudes and pod. We've got Priest of the Forgotten Gods. This card's really good and it's like really our only removal in the deck, but it draws us a card and it makes black mana, which is a big deal. I care more about that than I care about anything else at the moment. We've got Ropeline Attendant. Now this is a really strong card. This is one of the alchemy cards, and when it enters the battlefield, creature cards in your hand perpetually gain when this creature enters the battlefield. Create a 1/1 citizen token. Now, this effect can be triggered when stuff comes back from the graveyard or played from your hand the first time. You can have this effect added to cards in your hand multiple times, so it would make multiple citizens. And then we've got both Vesperlark. So when it leaves the battlefield, return target creature card power 1 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Could return something that'll make a bunch of citizens, right? Same as Gurgling Anointer, does the same thing. And then Kami of Mourning also does the same thing, but in a slightly different way. And so we've got a bunch of stuff that returns from graveyard to play. We're playing one Woe Strider that we can use to sacrifice all of our guys. There's like maybe a win con if we need to swipe our board. So like trigger the Blood Artist several times. But also because the Kami of Mourning says it adds a perpetual effect to a creature. When a creature you control with greater mana value dies, return this card to the battlefield. So I can use the Woe Strider to intentionally bring back things at a more convenient pace. And then we can get out some of these things with Spawning Pod. Like I will turn Llanowar Elves into something relevant. I will turn a Ropeline Attendant into a Vesperlark and so on. Turn Vesperlark into Seething Skitter-Priest. Now this is the card that I think makes the deck a little crazy, because it says when it enters the battlefield, creatures you control and creatures in your hand gain perpetually. When this creature dies, create a 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might with Toxic 1 and can't block. So, and again, this can stack multiple times also. And whenever Ropeline Attendant adds its effect to something to create citizens, that effect triggers before any other effect on the card. So if I play Seething Skitter-Priest, I'll get a citizen, and then the Skitter-Priest effect will go off. And then that citizen will gain, when the citizen dies, make a might. And it gets crazy really fast. And there's just lots of tricks. Like this deck really rewards you for understanding how the order and layering of stuff goes. And that's why I've been really enjoying it. But you can just go really wide sometimes for no reason whatsoever. But let me just show you. Let me just show you how it works. Okay, this is not a great hand. I would have to literally rip a land and go pod on turn 2. But we're gonna mulligan for safety. This is much better. I'll keep this, and we will put the Anointer back. I'm going to keep the Skitter-Priest. Planes go. That's pretty good. I don't really need to attack for one, so I'll just save some life here. Courtyard will still come in untapped. I'm hoping to draw a creature. Okay, we're playing against life gain. I'm only worried if we see a Soul Sister. Just going to pass. I can do this at any time, but I can't use the black mana, so I'm gonna wait instead. And then Vesperlark can bring back Llanowar Elves if needed. Okay, we got a Gurgling Anointer, so let's make the Gurgling Anointer. Let's attack first with the Skitter-Priest, because he will just take it. That's right, just take it. Alright. I'll sacrifice. I'll draw a card which puts a counter on the Gurgling Anointer. This was really important because it means that it can now return another target creature with mana value less than or equal to 2. Which might come up. This is an annoying card. Okay, so we got Cutthroat. We have a Skitter-Priest, but can't play it as well because I only have 3. What I'm going to do is we're going to eat the mites, and then we're going to play the other Vesperlark. And then Gurgling Anointer is going to be a 3/4. Ooh, Ropeline Attendant. That is unfortunately not well timed because I didn't have the right mana to cast up this turn, but next turn. Next time we'll probably throw that down. So you have to still pay the mark for it unless okay. Interesting. That's a cool card. I just want a Skitter-Priest here, realistically. So we're gonna go like this. Target you, yes. Get rid of these 2. So the Vesperlark is gonna bring back the Llanowar Elves. Oh, I could have brought back the... Interesting. Let me bring back the Vesperlark. Oh, I got another Skitter-Priest. But we get the Skitter-Priest, right? So this Skitter-Priest activates and hits this Skitter-Priest. So when this plays, it'll be 2. But I'm going to choose to not attack because I'm just going to drain as often as I can. And that's how we're going to get there. Okay, that's not great. I can block for like forever. We're going to go like this. And so when I hit that, okay. So Vesperlark will bring back the Gurgling Anointer. And then the Priest will draw me a card which will put a counter on the Gurgling Anointer. I will then have potentially 3 mana. And the plan was to play the Anointer. Which I think is still correct, but I'd rip the Kami. You see I just got 5 mites out of that. So I guess playing the Anointer is still correct. Just for blocking, maybe? No, I'll play the Kami. I'll play the Kami because I want to hit the Llanowar Elves because I want to start bringing it back. And then I'll just pass the turn because I need to block. My opponent is playing Mono Angels, which is not terrible, but not great. I need more drain effects, if possible. That's gross. He says good. Oh, okay. I think he said good game because he was like, I can't lose, and I'm like, oh no. This is pretty good because we can go turn 2 pod. Being on the draw makes that a little less safe. Look at stuff like the Lark and the Anointer also. Mulligan is 6. Okay, great. Who's playing this card? Okay. We take the elf, yeah. That's fine. Fatal push here. Surely. Yup. That's fine. I get to slime pod. I don't think Mono Black is probably playing any outs to pod. Here's pod. Interesting. This card's pretty good if you don't play anything that costs 3 or greater. Or 3 or less. Here's the plan. We're gonna take 5. That's the plan, unfortunately. I'm not that worried. I don't care about that either. Everything I care about is already in play. I kind of want you to take a pod, honestly. Take Vesperlark. That's fine. Interesting. So now I can start getting rid of the obliterators. We're gonna attack 2. Little cheeky, get in there. Well then, pod the Lark and get Blood Artist. So how whenever anything dies, I'll get a Might. I just literally take 10 here. That is fine. Then what, Merchant? For 10? Sure, that's fine. As long as I don't die, I don't really care. Okay, so we got Rope Attendant. Because we can play this also. So I think I go Rope Attendant. And then we Priest. Or do I pod first? I think it gives me 2. So I kind of want to play the Gurgling Anointer, I guess. That's fine. I'm going to sacrifice like this. Blood Artist will heal me a little bit. He sacrifices an Obliterator. That's huge. Because I kind of want to pod something. I think playing the Anointer is better. Okay. Okay, so I need to not take 5. I think this is okay. I will take 2, but get some back with the Blood Artist. And I sacrifice 1 permanent, which is also fine. Gurgling Anointer will return something. I might keep the Llanowar Elves and get rid of a Might. Seems fine. then what, Fatal Push? Like, what are you holding? Inquisition, that's fine. The card doesn't bother me. Okay. Let's pod my Llanowar Elves. That's pretty good. I'm gonna play my other Llanowar Elves. And then activate this. That's crazy. Big shouldered every time. I'm gonna play pod. And I'm just gonna get a Llanowar Elves. I think it's the correct choice. There's still a lot of things that just kill me outright. Like Merchant, but I guess they didn't find it. SCG. So the deck's actually pretty strong. I've been really enjoying it. A lot of the time you just kind of get to a point where you can't be stopped. It gains a lot of life, it drains a lot of life, it slowly eats all of your opponent's creatures. And whenever your stuff dies, it replaces itself with new things for you to interact with. The really obvious weak point is stuff that exiles things and exiles your graveyard, but I found that I don't really encounter that much of it. Like, Rest in Peace is literally in the format, I don't really see it that much. So I haven't really been like absolutely hosed for playing the strategy. And then the other big one that's a problem is the Soul Sister type cards, because there's a few of them, where whenever your guys come in, they get 1 life, and you're like, well, I have a lot of guys that come in, but the mites do have toxic, so you can in theory make enough mites that you can kill someone with poison counters. So it's kind of interesting. It's really fun to play. I've been enjoying it a lot in looking at how the different things will interact, what kind of choices I can make, and pod is a lot of fun as well. But that is a look at this cool little thing I've been playing with. If you did like this video, check out some of the other Magic historic stuff. I'll have a playlist up on the screen. Some of the other decks that I've been looking at. But I also make a whole bunch of other stuff on the channel, like Marvel Snap. I've got a bunch of Pokemon stuff. And I make board games. So I have a bunch of content around how to make board games, how I've been making board games, what the journey is like, and what the job of a game designer is actually like. So if you've ever thought that you could maybe do something like that, and honestly anyone can, I recommend checking out some of that stuff as well. And if you think any of that is kind of cool, then maybe hit the subscribe button, because that makes me feel like I'm cool, and that could be fun.